You're listening to Divine Tandem Podcast. The divine duo of North and South collide in this conversational and sometimes controversial podcast. These two Tauruses talk about spirituality, self-discovery, empowerment, self-mastery, and life synchronicities. Come hang out with Holly and Kate, grab a glass of wine, and get ready to step into your power.
Okay, hello and welcome.
We're back, everyone.
We are certainly back, and we have a special guest, Donna. We're so excited to have her here today, and we can't wait to dive into this topic. So just to cover off a few things first, you can follow us at Divine Tandem, and you can look at us on YouTube as well. You can see our moon rituals on our Instagram page. And we're going to give you Donna's handle as well. So it's at Donna_medium. So that might give it away what we're going to talk about.
Yes. Yeah. So this is honestly a very special moment for me. This feels kind of like a full circle moment because I've been following Donna since my big spiritual awakening in 2019, I want to say. And so it's really great to have Donna on as I'd say a premier guest. She's a direct messenger for spirit. A medium, author, animal intuitive, and a teacher of yoga, meditation, and consciousness. Now, pretty much all in one. Who doesn't love that? And her passion in this lifetime is to support the current shift of soul consciousness, which I think in this day and age is very much needed. So welcome, Donna. We're so grateful to have you on this episode.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. So you and I have been following each other for a while. And I'd love to see all of a sudden you go, oh, she's doing a podcast. Oh, she has a partner. This is fabulous. What's happening? So when I saw you were doing that, I decided, well, let me look back because I'm doing podcasts now as a guest. So I said, I always have to look at what's happening before I agree to anything or I offer to be on the shows.
By the way, very smart.
Right. So I loved the way you guys interacted. I loved the openness and expansion that you guys put into the show, as opposed to whatever you're talking about, whether you are familiar with it or not. You have the right questions to ask. You are inclusive with whoever believes, doesn't believe, it doesn't matter. There's no judgment. There's no shaming. So I enjoyed the way the two of you interacted. So that's why I shot a little message off to you guys about, hey, how about me?
And I was so honored. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I'm so honestly humbled that you said all those things because that's exactly what our sort of main objective is. And so I appreciate that it's coming through. So
we really appreciate that feedback, to hear that from someone who's just recently looked at the show and listened. And that's so exciting. And we've been looking forward to this day. And here we are.
And Yay.
There's so much out there.
Exactly.
So much out there. So when you find that resonation between your voices, the way you work together, whether you're on the same screen or in different screens, it doesn't matter. When the integrity comes through, people are drawn.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that's something that we were both looking for, and why we decided to go this route is because we wanted to portray something that maybe we hadn't quite found as much of in the space. So that was really cool. Yeah.
I hear that. When I first started seeing spirit, appears, I'm Googling everything that happened to me. This was back in 2012, and I found nothing. I found nothing. So I think in two ways, there was a reason for that. Number one, they didn't want me to find anything. Spirit, my guides, they didn't want me to find it because then I would be drawn to what someone else did instead of experiencing my own. And the other reason is maybe what I found wouldn't have been what I needed. And it might have took me off the path of where I needed or wanted or chose in this lifetime. So there's always, through the years that I've been doing this, there's always been did this happen because this, or did this happen because this? But I'm always one of those people that good, bad, right, or wrong, a blessing and a curse, I overanalyze. And I'm aware of everything. Like I can tell you what my right pinky toe is doing right now while I speak to you. And that's how I think I evolved into becoming a medium and doing this direct work for spirit.
Wow. And so I was going to ask you, did you have like a significantly profound moment that all of a sudden it was just like the doors blew off, that you realized that you had this gift, or you finally had access to this gift? How did that sort of come to you? Just so you can tell our audience, because I know a lot about you, but I want everyone else to know as well.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I call this new phase of me a promotion.
Yeah.
Because I've been an entrepreneur for well over almost 30 years. And I grew up in a family with 7 brothers and sisters. And my parents, when I was about 20 years old, went to work at a health institute, which was raw food, yoga, consciousness, everything. And even though I didn't do that right at the time, I was taking all of that in. Alternative ways to heal the body. Again, this was almost 40 years ago, over 40 years ago.
Wow.
So as I grew and had my own crap going through the 20s and the 30s, settled in Vermont and was having trouble with my marriage, but I knew I wanted to go the route of something different. I knew something was calling me, but I couldn't call it anything. I probably talked to the universe. I asked for dreams. And I got many dreams, answers in my dreams, but I wasn't a medium. I wasn't anything I am right now. And there was a time on my yoga mat, I was teaching a yoga class, and I sat at the end. We have them get up after Shavasana, and we sit for about 5 minutes in a meditation. And when I was being taught how to teach yoga and meditation, they always told you, never close your eyes during meditations. Never close your eyes with your students. Never understood why, but I followed it. I didn't understand why.
Yeah.
For some reason, this time I said, okay, everybody close your eyes. And I closed my eyes also. In that moment, my whole something was shot up into the universe. And I went so high up into the sky, I ended up just sitting on a cloud in complete black, in complete darkness. All I saw were twinkling lights. Wow. And I'm sitting up there just days, months, years, I'm sitting up there just watching, just observing. No time was passing to Donna, right? But it seemed like I was up there forever. And I was feeling great. I wasn't alone. I wasn't afraid. I didn't need anybody else to talk to. And again, I'm not understanding what's happening, but my brain wasn't involved.
Right.
Until my brain said to me, oh crap. How am I going to get back to my yoga mat? That's what snapped me out of that. And I was plopped back down into my yoga studio on my cushion. I opened my eyes with a start and I said, I'm so sorry. How long was I gone? Mm-hmm. And they're like, what are you talking about? You just said, close your eyes.
Oh.
So I would guess, I can still remember that like it was this morning, that in that moment I said, okay, now I'm convinced there's something else other than my physical body. And I need to keep searching. I need to keep finding what that was, and not just observe it from up there, but observe it how it happens to me here in 3-dimensional world. So I spent a lot of work, therapy, a lot of work on myself. Mm-hmm. And then flash forward to 2009, I had a good sized business that I had that I owned, plus a yoga studio. 2009, when the economy tanked, I lost some of my contracts. So I said, why am I doing this now? I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. Started traveling, ended up in Virginia. And while I was in Virginia, I saw my first, what I thought was my first physical spirit. He appeared in my bed. Oh, talking to me. So I'm watching an Abraham Hicks video. You guys familiar with Abraham Hicks?
Yeah, very much.
I didn't know anything about them, but my mother and my brother were just insistent that I watch her videos channeling Abraham. And I was just like, I got other things to do. I just quit my business. I need to get a life here. I need to find a job. I just need to do something. But they just kept saying, you need to watch her videos. You need to watch her videos. So I finally got around to watching it, but knew nothing about her, nothing, except for what they had said. I click it, play, starts playing, and this gentleman appears beside me in my bed. Older man, well-dressed, glasses, attractive. And I'm like, huh, just my type, and he's unavailable. Even more my type.
Yeah, the ultimate unavailable, hey?
Ultimate. So we just had to banter back and forth a bit. And I'm like, who are you? I'm talking to him like it was me talking to you right beside me.
Wow.
Nothing was freaked out. And again, this is like a promotion for Donna.
Yeah.
Because remember, I've been seeking something other than myself.
Yes.
And he said, Donna, click the link. He was pointing at my computer. I said, yeah, turn this way. I said, yeah, but who are you? This is great. Who are you? And he's like, Donna. He's using my name. I'm assuming he knows me, right?
Yeah.
Click the link, click the link. So I go, all right, I'll click the link. And he was insistent. I click the link and it takes me to a picture of Jerry and Esther Hicks, her husband.
Right.
It was Jerry Hicks sitting right next to me.
Whoa.
No idea who he is, right? I see it on the screen. He's got the exact same clothes on in the picture.
Oh my God.
And he answered my question. My question was, who are you?
Who are you? Yeah,
He answered it. He answered it. So what did I first do? Call my mother.
Yeah.
Mom, is Jerry dead? She's like, I don't know. I said, well, I'm going to have to Google it. She's like, why? It's just because he's sitting right beside me.
Oh my gosh.
So she's like, oh, Donna, when you become a medium, I have so many friends down here. I'm like, Mom, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, like when you become a medium, like she's already plotting your career
She's
path.
pimping you out already.
Exactly. So it tumbled from there. It just kept going with her wonderful guidance, pushing and pushing.
Wow.
That's how it started. And again, I Googled it.
Yeah.
Nothing. He had crossed 4 months prior to him appearing to me.
Wow.
So I had to go wait about when did that happen? In March, July, I saw my first medium. And the first thing he said was, there's a Jerry here. And I just went, phew, I'm not crazy.
Yeah, you need that validation, right? Because you think you're crazy. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that started it.
Wow. I love that story.
That's a pretty epic story.
I was getting
say.
so many shivers as you were telling that.
Right.
Oh, I can totally relate to it's scary, right? When these
Yeah.
things happen.
And you're not just seeing some like normal average person, like you're seeing someone pretty prominent from the spiritual community. So that's a huge sign, I would say.
You got to push it yourself at that point,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I pushed. I say literally, there were handprints on my back for the next 2 or 3 years, just pushing me forward, forward,
Yeah.
and listening to every sign.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We've got to follow the signs, right? That's something that we're always talking about on our podcast, like synchronicities and signs, and like nothing happens by accident. There's no coincidences.
Yeah.
There are none. In fact, somebody and I, the other day, something happened and I was putting on my Instagram, is this a sign? I'm like, of course it's a sign, but let's see if anybody else says it's a sign.
Yeah.
Right? It's so true.
It's so funny. I'm glad you brought up signs, because that's something that I think we're all very curious about. And something that I think you talked about overanalyzing and overthinking. And I definitely come from that school very much so. It takes a lot for me to get out of my own head and get out of my own way. So I think I'm still like, I am more trusting of the signs that I'm being given, but I still sort of question what they mean a lot of the times. And I don't really have that clarity. And then I get them in all different forms. And sometimes it's almost too much. And I'm starting to, again, wonder if I'm crazy, why all of a sudden I just get a song in my head, or, I get a lot of dreams too, but it's very symbolic versus this is what's happening. And again, trying to translate that is very challenging at times. So I just feel like sometimes I'm just like sitting in the puzzle going, what? So it's interesting that you talked about that. And maybe we can discuss further, like how spirit does communicate, how you can learn to better trust the signs, and what all that entails as well.
Yeah, I think the question there is like you said, how do we trust the signs when they don't make sense?
Yes.
Because you can be like, you get all these signs and you're like, it's a sign. And then it's like, well, but what does that mean?
Yes.
And I think that's where the process of growing and accepting is your first lesson, which is be open to receive. Here's another good one. Leave no room for doubt. Because once you start doubting, was that my mind? Was that spirit? Spirit's like, they're not ready.
Yeah.
And it's not like they won't come back. They're not angry or anything. They're like, if you're going to doubt them, because it takes them not just, like this to do it. Some are better than others. Some spirit guides are better than others. For Jerry to do that, it had to be a shock for me. It had to be something so real, or else where I was in that phase of my life, not feeling so great, just moved the state, right?
Yeah.
I had to firmly believe it wasn't my mind. So he came through as a physical being. If I touched him, my hand probably would have went through, but he looked real to me.
Wow.
And then I had to make the connection, and then he had to work with me. So I think what a lot of people also think that they're not safe if they start opening up to spirit, like other things will come through. So what I suggest is, if you want to do this work, if that's something you're being drawn to, number one, leave no room for doubt, be open to receive. Once you say that, then you keep your eyes and your ears and your heart open.
Yeah.
I always tell people also, everybody has guides.
Yeah.
Everybody has guides, whether you call them angels, guardian angels, archangels, your loved ones who have crossed, it doesn't matter, saints, it doesn't matter. Everybody has something. So I say, okay, you've got a gatekeeper. Everybody has a gatekeeper. Put your gatekeeper to work and say to your gatekeeper, or not, you don't have to know his or her name. To me, they're all androgynous anyway. You don't have to know their name. Just say, hey, gatekeeper, thanks for being around. Will you set up a perimeter around me to protect me from anything that's not for me?
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Now, no, I didn't say positive or negative, because I don't believe there are anything like that. Everything that safely will come into your perimeter is for you.
Yeah.
Because there is no good, bad, right, or wrong. And I've had a negative spirit enter my meditation, and I said, oh no, nope, not going there. Until I called a friend, and that friend said, oh, Donna, it's just for you. Call her in. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So I did, and everything changed. But to go in with that understanding that everything that presents itself is for you, that there is no good, bad, right, or wrong, doesn't mean things don't hurt. Doesn't mean there isn't sadness. It just means, okay, if this is coming, then I guess it's for me, and I guess I'm ready for it. I ditched a 6-figure income back in 2009. Wow. That's the ultimate in losing, right? But I never said, oh, now what am I going to do? I just listened, and spirit guided me. I didn't know it at the time, but spirit guided me.
Yeah.
So I love dreams. Early on, I was asking specific questions of my dreams. Specific, not just, okay, I had a dream, let me write it down, which, by the way, we should all be writing things down. Everybody started a journal. I have one since Jerry appeared, 2012. I have a journal with everything that's happened, because I don't remember anything. And whenever I feel that, what am I doing? I scan my journal, I look at a post, I'm like, oh, that happened. Oh, yeah. So with dreams, be very specific. What do you want? There was a time when I started teaching yoga. This is back in 2001, 2002. And I was teaching at a place, but I wasn't getting any students. But I knew I was supposed to teach yoga. I knew it in my heart I was supposed to do that. So I went to bed that night and I said, look, you guys, I don't know what I called it then, but look, I need a sign. What do I need to do next? Because I'm not doing what I want to do. I want to teach. In the dream, I took my daughter by the hand. She was about 5 at the time, but not in real life. I took her by the hand and I went up to the local health club. I walked it to the front desk and I said, hey, I'm a yoga teacher. Do you guys need anybody to teach yoga? And they're like, yeah. I woke up and I went, well, now that was specific. But why would I take my daughter to a job? That didn't seem right. So I didn't take my daughter. But I went to the health club. I asked, just like in my dream, and they said, oh my gosh, thank you so much. We have been looking for a yoga teacher.
Wow.
I taught there for over a year, and then I opened my own studio.
Wow.
I didn't find out. So you talk about how you don't understand your dreams. I didn't find out who that little person was in my dream almost 7 years later. I figured it out. It was my inner child.
Oh,
wow.
It wasn't really my daughter. Why would you take your daughter?
No,
No, it was like my inner child or my dream saying, buck up, Donna, put your big girl pants on, take that little girl and get up there and ask for a job.
Wow.
So the interpretation may not come till later.
Right.
Because remember that first story, right? There's no such thing as time.
No, true.
So open up to the dream, write it out, talk it out with a friend. There have been many times where I've explained it to a friend, and as I was explaining it, I went, oh, I get what that means now.
Yeah.
It's like the pieces just snap together. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I do that with Holly a lot, actually, because
Yeah.
I'm just going through my dreams going, I have no idea. But as I'm, again, saying them out loud, it
Then you
does
start to, it does come together. Yeah.
You just have to keep doing it, right? Just keep writing it down. Just keep asking. Well, what if you ask specific?
Yes. Yeah, my dreams have been really vivid lately, and I have been writing them all down. Even I Kate will laugh at this because I played it back to her. I had this really vivid dream, and she was in it. And I woke up at like 6 a.m. so groggy, but I'm like, I need to remember this dream. So I got out my phone and I made a voice memo, and I was so groggy in it. And I'm like, Kate, I've got to play this back to you. And we were killing ourselves laughing because I'm like in and out of sleep, but I'm like, had to get the message.
Yeah, like she'll pause and then it'll keep going because she's like trying not to fall back asleep.
But I've started doing that now because I'm like, if they're so vivid, it's obviously going to mean something down the track, and I need to get it when it's fresh.
And don't forget the emotion that came up in the dream, not just what happened or who was in it, but the emotion, because sometimes dreams won't make sense at all. So I'll ask a client, because I do dream interpretation also. I'll ask a client, well, how did you feel in the dream? And then they'll go with that. Well, how did you feel when you woke up from the dream? That immediate, that's why the recording is great. That immediate sensation of, okay, here's what happened and here's what I'm feeling right now. I'm anxious, I'm happy, whatever, because there is no good, bad, right, or wrong. And then wait for it. And then wait for it.
That's really good advice, actually, for people that dream and think, what the hell was that about?
Right. So there are two theories to dreams. And I also did some psychology before I became a medium. I tried to become that. I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah, I still don't. So
and you don't have to. That's what's so great about life. That's what's so great. Everybody in your dream, two schools of thought. Everybody in your dream is you.
Wow.
So when someone the other day, I was interpreting her dream on a walk, she said a dog came through and this was the dog, and she explained the dog. I said, holy shit, that was my dog. So she said, what does that mean? I said, well, that's an interpretation of me.
Oh.
So the work that we're doing. So when you say you dreamt about Kate, what does she represent to you? Could be a question that you ask. Am I projecting onto her, or do I project something back? Right. So all of those things you need to just ask yourself after the fact, right? After you read it down and get the emotional piece out. And the other way to look at dreams is just exactly what they are. Like my dream to go up to the health club. Yeah. It was exact. It was exact. So, you go with either. But typically the best I found, the most I found is everybody in your dream is you. Even if it's an old flame. I've had this guy that I keep dreaming about. I'm like, it's over. Why does he keep coming? But I look at what he's doing in the dream.
Right.
And then if that's me, am I doing that to myself? Is that what I'm doing right now?
Wow.
That's interesting.
This is very helpful for me with all the dreams that I've been having.
Well, this is funny because it just, when you put a different face onto it, maybe it gets you to look at it from a different perspective, because if it was just you in the dream, it might not be the same message you need to hear or see or something. I sort of take it that way, if that makes sense.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all in different areas, and you know what happens when we sleep? We're taking so many different places. So for your listeners out there, if you don't dream, that's okay too.
Yeah.
Your body needs the rest and your soul needs to travel. You need the downloads. You need whatever's happening. Something's happening.
Yeah.
Something's happening.
I can attest to that, because more often than not lately, I've been getting like night sweats and waking up at like 555, 444. and I know like I'm not ill or, it's not the dead of summer. So I'm like, there's something going on while I'm sleeping.
Yes.
So I find that very interesting as well too. So it might not even just be dreams. It can be things that are just happening, as you said, during the sleeping hours, right?
It's the only time spirit, the universe, source, has that you at their beck and call.
Right.
Without nothing else. Some people that have insomnia don't want to give in to that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot that happens. My dad was like that. Didn't want to give in to that. I don't want to feel that. So it's better not to sleep. But when you sleep, I always tell people, look, you got to be in bed by 10 o'clock. A lot of times Spirit has said, forget this 1 o'clock crap. You need to be in bed at 10 o'clock. You need to get 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night. Yeah. If you want to do this work, eating healthy, which is what I started to say, my parents in the health food industry, food is big for raising your vibration. Meditation, dream work, therapy, playing with kids, all of these things put you in a different vibration in order to receive spirit signs. And if you don't doubt, like everything that comes to me, I'm like, of course that happened. Thank you. That's the first thing I say. I say thank you.
Yeah.
There was a time like receiving signs. It was about a year after I started doing readings where Abraham Lincoln came in a reading. I assumed it was for my guest, my client.
Yeah.
But he kept coming. And then I kept seeing
signs
signs
from pretty prominent guest as well to show up.
Right. I'm like, how do I say this? Right. I'm like, do you like Abraham Lincoln? She's like, oh, I resonate so highly with Abraham Lincoln. Okay, good. Got it. So now he's one of my spirit guides. Anyway, so now it's right. Now 6 or 7 years into my mediumship, and we're like best buds, right? Abraham, Jerry, and I are doing a ton of stuff, tons of signs from Mr. Lincoln. I realized less than 2 years ago that a site that I used to use for ordering books back when I was being a psychologist, trying to be a psychologist, and I love this one book, this one website, which was, I called it abebooks.com. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I've ordered off them before, yes.
abebooks.com.
Yeah.
I'm talking to my cousin a year or so ago, and I was like, did you know that spells Abe? And she's like, I'm like, no, because I always called it ABE. She said, I call it Abe Books.
Yeah, and that's what I call it too, actually. Yeah.
I never did.
Wow.
So he's been with me for so many years prior. But Donna, in her 3D capacity, just dealing with life, wasn't open to it. But what a great message later on to say, holy crap.
Yeah, it's always been there.
Wow.
Always been there. He's always been there.
Wow. That's so amazing. So what about so connecting with spirit and loved ones? What about for people that maybe aren't as in tune, perhaps, as you were saying about raising the vibration and eating well and all of that kind of stuff? But what if you're just kind of like an everyday person who wants to connect with a loved one? Like, what would be the simplest advice for that?
Ask.
Yeah.
It's a big one because a lot of people are afraid to do that.
Yeah.
The way I view the spirit world is levels, planes of existence. So 1, 2, 3 and up. Right. If a soul appears to me in a reading on 1, 2, 3, typically they're still hanging out. They like the interaction with 3D world. They like to see their loved ones. They like to do and send signs to them. And in the world of spirit, they're saying, if I go higher, not everybody, but we'll give an example here. If I go higher into 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I won't be able to do that. And that's untrue. Right. So I tell them, your loved one will always be available to you. You have now become the soul who used to be their mother, father, brother, sister, loved one. And that gives you the ability to go up and down in spirit world, do what you want to do and come back. So with that being said, you want to make sure you're not holding on. This is tough for most people when you're grieving. If the loss is new, you're not holding on to that physical being. when my cat died, it was the most love I really ever felt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when he crossed, I wanted his body back with me.
Yeah.
I wanted his physical body.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When I thought that, I could not hear him
Yeah.
in spirit world.
Right.
There's a difference. So sometimes your loved ones are feeling that you don't want to let go of them, and they'll gladly hang around. There's no problem. They'll gladly hang around and do that. But sometimes it's more difficult for them to send you signs if there's that attachment to the 3D world.
Right.
Because that means they haven't, I mean, every medium is different in how they work directly with spirit, right? In my knowing, they don't have they're not taking the time to turn and go toward the light, we'll say, and take classes on how to send my loved one a sign, or talk to their guides to say how to send my loved one a sign. So I tell people there's a couple of things you can do. You can say to your loved one, if you've seen no sign, you can say to your loved one, hey, why don't you go take a class? Did you know there are classes in the world of spirit that you can go and do that? And they're probably like, right on it. And it will only take them 5 minutes, because 5 minutes in physical is triple million times in spirit world. I said, or you can ask my father. My father, whose name is Moose, he loves to be able to help the world of spirit send their loved ones signs. So it's happened now at least 3 or 4 times in a reading. Someone has called me the next day and said, oh, thank God for your dad. And I'm like, why? What happened? And she told me this fabulous story about how her husband came through. So you could ask yourself, you could ask Moose to help my loved one send me a sign. You could ask for a specific sign. Remember, I say being specific is okay. I've asked many times, Lincoln or JFK is also one of my guides. I want a penny. I want a guide. I want a feather. I want this.
Yes.
They give it, because that's leaving no room for doubt.
Right.
So if you step out of your car and you look down and you see a penny, you're not going to say, oh, the last person must have just dropped it.
No, that's for you.
Right? There's leave no room for doubt. You pick it up and you say, thank you, and put it in my little, I have a ton of pennies in my little car, little thing there, ton of pennies. So ask, be specific. It's okay to be specific. When a loved one first crosses over the first couple of days, week or so, it's a big time for them. You've probably heard this before. They could show up very easily because they're still kind of hanging out. Some don't, some just go, whoop, see you later, bye. We'll be back later. Others will say, it's easy for me to send a bird, a feather, a penny, something. You might hear me in your dream. That's quickly after a crossing. My mother, when she crossed, she was immediately up in spirit world saying, what are you doing now? Mom, you just left. What are you doing now? Are you ready? Are you going to do something else now? You just left.
I love that.
So ask, or you can come see a medium. Go see someone. Go see some sort of spiritual guide and say you want to hear from them.
Yeah.
It's tough, because my daughter even has this great ability, and she's had some signs, and then she'll just like, okay, it's great. That was grandma. I get it. And then just move on. And that's okay. And that's okay, because that's what she's doing.
Yeah.
But if you want to do this and you want this deeply enough, and you want to hear from your guides, no good, bad, right, or wrong, just be open. And then stop the chatter, stop the busyness, find those moments of nothingness so that they have your attention.
Yeah.
If you're just driving in your car and you're just focused, instead of, oh, there's a billboard. Hey, Lincoln's on that billboard. And then you just go back to driving, but you're like, thank you.
Yeah.
And sometimes there isn't a full message. There's just a, here I am. This is what I could do today. So if we're going to do an exercise later, I know you guys are excited for that.
Yeah.
But if you do an exercise or you ask for it, but you don't get the specific, you get something, but you don't get the specific sign you asked for, just know that maybe that's what they could do right then.
Yeah.
I expect a lot from Lincoln, JFK, Jerry
Well,
Hicks.
I feel like,
I
they're
expect a lot.
seasoned veterans now, right? In this world. So, especially.
You best do something like that. You best do that. So leave no room for doubt. Be open to receive, and don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah.
But then don't go away. Don't turn away.
Yeah.
Open your eyes, your ears in your heart.
Yeah, I think definitely, from what I've seen, and I was probably this person at one point, where there's like a level of fear, like you want it, but you're also a little, fearful of what you're actually gonna pull through, or sometimes you want the message, but you're not really maybe ready for it either, right? So
we're talking about two things there, Kate.
Yeah.
It's the message or a sign. Do you want a message or do you want a sign?
Right.
Do you want the sign? Like for me, the sign was the economy tanked and you need to close your business and leave Vermont so that spirit can appear.
Right.
I'm sorry if my message involved the world.
Yeah. It's not your fault. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The last year and a half or so, same thing. Changed my world. My mother passing changed my world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good, bad, right, or wrong?
Yeah.
No such thing.
No,
So do you want that message, or are you going to wait for something drastic to happen?
Right.
To push you.
Right.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, look, you're either going to wait and it's going to happen regardless, or you listen now.
Yeah.
And you make some movement toward that. So what the message you're getting? I just asked for a sign, like meaning send me a feather, send me your name, send me a penny, send me a coin. If I'm reading a client, I'm reading someone and this happened. I'm like, oh, here's your uncle. I think it was an uncle. He likes to send you dimes. She's like, I see a lot of dimes. And I said, do you know they're from your uncle? She says, yes. I said, well, let's try this. Why don't you tell him, screw the dimes, you want quarters now.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did. The next day I walk outside and on one of my statues out in the yard, there were quarters in the statue's hands.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
For me.
Yeah.
And then she called me and she said, guess what I saw today? And I'm like, a quarter? And she's like, yeah. So it's okay to ask. That's not telling her anything, right? That's not saying quit your job. That's not saying leave your relationship. That's just saying ask for a quarter. So ask for something little at first.
Yes, I love that.
And what's fear?
Exactly.
A big part of my lesson and this message of the new paradigm and the shift, that's another story, is that there is only one emotion, and that's love.
Yeah.
So if you label something as fear, that's okay. How can you bring love to accept that fear? Instead of feeling the fear, how do you feel the fear with love? Like, hello, fear. Oh, I see you, fear. Come on in. I love you.
Yeah, I know. That is a hard one. And I do have an example with my experience of seeing spirit, because about 10 years ago, it started to happen. And it's really interesting because this is really resonating with me that you said that if you're attached to them in the physical world, they won't reveal themselves, because all the spirits I've seen have been people that I've known or loved ones, but not particularly close with. And when I started to see them, the fear took over me straight away. And I was living alone at the time. So it was even more scary to wake up in the middle of the night and see someone at the edge of your bed.
Yes.
And so I started sleeping with crystals under my pillow, number one, because my first thought was, okay, if I'm seeing this, that's something that I know that's comfortable, I don't want anything evil. I love how you're saying about it's all love to come in. So I put the crystals under my pillow every night and I was like, please don't come back. Please don't come back. And I was just like, I'm not open to it because I was so frightened. And then what you said about I've been trying to connect with my grandmother for 2 years now, and she won't come through and she's being stubborn. And what you just said, because I was so attached to her in the physical world. So this is making like complete sense to me. I really am loving this.
And she's not gonna, like, if you tell her, Grandma, I get it, you're up there.
Yeah.
And now you are the soul who used to be my grandmother.
Yeah.
Because our soul keeps coming in, but we're never the same person, right? We're always a different humanoid, but our soul is always the same. So I don't want to label. You can still call her Gram or whatever you call her. You can still call her those things, but give her that. And I heard you say, if you're not ready, you're not ready. If someone's seeing spirit, someone's like, oh, they've said this to me, I don't want to. I did. Then you just tell them you don't want to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I said to my guides, look, unless it's good, unless it's really good, I do not want to see you during my everyday life.
No, don't bother me.
No, it better be good. Like I need a parking place, you better show up for my parking place.
I love that.
So you can ask that all the time. constantly ask in New York City for a parking place. And only one time did Lincoln refuse me. He said, Donna, it's Christmas in New York City. I can't do
But
it.
even I can't work out
I thought,
magic. Yeah.
that's pretty magical.
Exactly. So you just say it. If you don't want it, you say it. You don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I figured out after I saw spirit as a child, and my parents just said, it's not, shut up.
Yeah.
So I did. But I don't know if there was ever a part of me that was afraid of ghosts, spirits. But I will say, I join you, Holly, in the middle of the night, if something's coming to me in the pitch dark, no.
Yes,
No.
like not the time.
No. Nope. It better be good, and it better be somebody I know. You know, I don't want just a rando walking through. Right. And that's what a gatekeeper does.
Yeah.
He will stop any strangers from coming through. So if someone's going to sit at their bed and you set up your gatekeeper, if no matter what you do for crystals, whatever you can do, no good, bad, right, or wrong. If someone's sitting at your bed, they're there for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they need your help or they need your guidance. Like, what if it's a spirit who's stuck in the house and all you have to say is, hey, if you're stuck here, go to the light. Find your spirit guides. Go.
Yeah. No, that's really good. And I think, again, people overcomplicate things. They get in their way and it turns into sometimes this bigger thing that it actually, it can be very simple, like just a conversation, right? Just be very specific, you know, and I really appreciate that. It's funny, you say you see spirits. I tend to feel a lot. So I get like these big rushes over me. I had someone do this earlier.
Yeah, just before when we were setting up for this. And I'm
like,
I hope it's nice. Because I told her to come in today.
It was so specific. It was literally the back of a hand just going like this. And then I've had ringing in my ear pretty much since we started. So that is how I guess, feel spirit more than anything. But
so it's a sensation.
Yes, it's very much. And there's times when it is, I couldn't describe it to anyone. I honestly don't even know how to, but like it just washes over me. And it's just this like this complete feeling of comfort and just like relaxation. It's so honestly, they
and you trust it.
Yes.
Trust it. You say thank you, right? Yeah. They want to be acknowledged. They want to know whether it's out loud or in your head, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They hear you. Like I feel when you said that, I felt a love vibration.
Yeah.
Like it's the mother of love just that came to you and just did that, you know, and love could be anything. The love you have for yourself, the love you have for others. Love is love is love is love.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I hear that, and it's because I've had moments like when my cat died, Abraham Lincoln, my father, and the dog came in the middle of the night. The cat was dying that night in my house, but I was feeling stuck to the bed. I was stuck to the bed. I was feeling just like ick was just coming up, like ick. And I'm like, I couldn't move, but I was saying in my head, I wonder if this is what Angel's going through right now, my cat. I wonder if this is Angel's going through right now. And I wanted to get up to go see him, but I could not because Spirit did not want me to see that. So kept me in bed, like really down on the bed, not in a creepy way, but it was scary. It was scary. But then Abraham Lincoln came to my face, and it'll make me cry right now, what he said. And he said, we're going to take him now.
Oh.
And that was that. And then the next morning, I didn't even get up after that. I fell right back to sleep. And in the morning, he was gone.
No.
So it's hard to trust that.
Yeah.
Especially when the first thing you want to say, because I've had spirit land on my chest too. And I have to say, back off. Back off, dude. That's way too close. In a joking way, because they will do that. They don't understand. They don't see us as humans. They see us as vibration. So they're coming at you, but you're feeling it.
Yes.
And you're like, back off, dude. Just back the F off.
Well,
you're too close. You're too close.
Dirty Dancing, when he goes, this is my dance space and that's yours. I sort of do that in my head, like, leave this, you keep to yours, right?
I think it's important to set, I don't like the word boundaries. I don't use that. That's old paradigm. But I think it's important to set what you want to do.
Right.
Like, Holly, what do you want to do with your gift? That was told to me by the first medium. He said, well, what do you want to do with this, Jerry? And I'm like, I guess you're right. I have to figure that out. I want to state my intention. So
Yeah.
my intention was I wanted to channel Jerry. That's what I was being told. Okay. But I wanted to do it this way. I didn't want to be awake because who's
Yeah.
going to believe Donna?
Yeah.
I did not want to be awake. I mean, what I did for a living for 20 years, I cleaned toilets. I had a janitorial service.
Yeah.
I taught yoga too, but still, I'm like,
Yeah.
who's going to believe Donna?
Yeah.
They didn't like that.
Okay.
They wanted me to be a clear, conscious channel for
Oh,
spirit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to work even harder.
Harder.
Yeah.
So if you say, Kate, you say, I only feel,
Mhm.
but are you open to do more?
Yes.
So there's a good thing to say. So someone says,
Yeah.
I only see this, I'll never be like Donna. And I'm like, well, there was a time when I said, how am I going to do what I'm doing now?
That's right.
Right.
But I am, because I didn't stop going. I didn't stop learning. And I still think I'm not even doing what I'm meant to do yet. I'm still going to get another promotion. I love promotions. You don't get any more money in the spirit world, though.
Yeah, they're a little stingy with the cash, right?
But they have control over that, believe
Exactly,
me.
right?
I learned my lesson there too. Who are you to think you have control over your money? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much letting go.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's so much letting go, but I hear you, it's scary.
Yeah.
And if it's something you're not used to, that's why I want to put myself out there. That's why I make my YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this rando stuff that's been happening to me.
Yeah.
And as I had a list of videos I wanted to do, I don't think I even touched that list yet. I've got so many other things in my head.
Too many other things.
So I'd like to share that so that other people can Google it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and
And
that's
find the answer.
really how I found you when I was kind of going through some stuff, and I don't even remember what I Googled, but I found your videos. And again, like you had the message that I needed to hear in that moment. And then that set me on the course. Right. So yeah, that was
YouTube is a fabulous thing. I'd say well over half my new clients they've seen my videos, and they always say, universe sent me your video.
Yeah.
It just popped up when I needed it the most.
Yeah.
It's very true.
So what does that require though? In order for you to hear that lesson, or that message, what does that require?
Being open.
Trusting it. So it doesn't always come from spirit.
Yeah.
Right? It could come from, like you said, a song on the radio, a TV show. I've had many TV shows confirm, commercials with Abraham Lincoln appear when I say, how about a sign, Abraham? And a Lincoln car commercial comes on.
Oh my God.
And the first line of the commercial is, the signs are everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, I was kind of sad that day, a little depressed that day. I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't hear what he just said, and I'm not sure.
You're like,
could you send it again?
wow.
Next commercial break, same commercial.
Oh.
The signs are everywhere.
Wow.
Now that was explicit. That was explicit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's always that part of me that doesn't believe anymore. That's sad because, nothing happened today.
Yes.
Or nothing happened, or I haven't had a client in a couple of weeks, or then that's when I just go do a YouTube video. I'm like, look, put yourself out there again, Donna. Do something else.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because maybe you were meant to just rest for a week or two.
Yes. It is. It's really that letting go, isn't it? Like just constantly, like you're going to be guided, something's going to pop up, but until you're truly in that state of alignment and just like letting things flow, it is hard to just trust and believe that the next client's going to come along, or the next payday, or whatever you're looking for.
Because you're still that three-dimensional thought, that old paradigm thought is there's a good and a bad.
Right.
Yeah.
So I lost 2 jobs during these crunches times, but they've all propelled me forward.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. No
So
accident.
there is no good or bad. They're like, how did you deal with that? I said, well, that's so horrible. I said, no, it wasn't horrible. It was sad. I was hurt. I was all those things, but
Yeah.
I trust it. I trust
You've
it.
got to just reframe the situation.
Exactly.
And it's so funny, when I was feeling a bit icky last night, and so I decided to journal, and then songs have been coming to me, just the name of a song or a lyric. So have a little faith in me. So I took that as there we go.
Yep.
There you go.
Calm down, Kate, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
so I
and
just
then-
wrote it on my journal, right?
Have
Have a
faith.
little faith in me. Yeah.
And who was talking to who there?
definitely that's you talking to yourself.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that, I mean, the other way, right? Spirit talking to you could come later. But right now, Spirit's like, we need you to know to have faith in yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Your higher self talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, it's wonderful. It's just, yeah, it's so interesting to hear your perspective. I mean, we've seen some of your videos, your YouTube and your Instagram videos, and you present really well. And
Thank
the
you.
stuff that you say, like, just really makes me want to listen on. So I'm like totally loving all of this and just taking it all in. I feel like a student again.
I love my stories. Even when I listen to my own videos and I'm like, wow. And I don't even think it's me. When I'm watching it, I'm like, it's not me, but I'm like, that's a really good story.
Well, and it's so true. I was telling Holly, I was re-listening to, because I like to re-listen once in a while to our podcasts.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, we had a really great conversation a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember her having it,
No.
but great. That's like, you just go somewhere else, right?
Yeah, sometimes
But,
you do, you think,
or you're
wow,
in the zone.
that's not me. I'm presenting really well. Is that me? I don't know.
But you're trusting Spirit. Spirit's guiding you. When I taught yoga, I had no idea who was speaking through me. I had no idea. But at the end of class, would come up to me and say, wow, where did you learn that? And I'm like, I have no idea. I have no idea where that was coming from.
Yeah.
I don't remember learning any of that.
Wow.
But come to find out, years later that I have 2 yogis that are my spirit guides. So now I know.
Yeah.
But back then I just kept going with it. I'm like, I knew I was meant to teach.
Yeah.
Even though I had this business.
Yeah.
The business gave me the money
Yeah.
to teach and to go on retreats to learn more about teaching.
Yeah.
Like I never said, I'm going to clean toilets for the rest of my life, am I? I never said that. I just assumed I would be guided when the time came. And this is way before I did any of this.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's really
So
cool.
in some past life, in all my past lives, I've been some sort of version of this.
Right.
Like I just say I was promoted in this lifetime.
Yeah.
But again,
I love that. I'm going to
50.
start using
Yeah,
that.
Promoted.
It
So
is,
my goal, I was 50 when Jerry appeared. 50.
Wow. Yeah.
My life changed at 50. You never know.
You
until
never know.
You know.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
true.
it's very true.
Yeah.
Never say never. Never say never. You never know until you know.
Leave no doubt.
No doubt. Leave no room. Yep. No room for that.
So one thing you were, so we're going to do an exercise, which I'm really excited about. And then you also said something I was intrigued by, animal totem. Something about pulling an animal totem or something.
Oh, I was gonna do that for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool thing.
I love animals.
Okay.
So
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
So this would be like a spirit guide,
Okay.
only it would be a spirit animal or a totem animal.
I love
Okay.
it. Yeah.
I love that.
I don't know what, saw something on TV that it was inappropriate to say spirit animal anymore, but I don't know the answer to. So we'll say totem animal,
Yes,
totem
sure.
animal,
I have
which
heard
is just like a spirit.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm going to do that before the exercise. I'm going to pull totem animals first. So totem animals, just like a spirit guide, they'll come to you at certain times of your life when they're needed.
Okay.
So when I pull the animal through, I probably will give a name for them. I'm going to work for that to get a name for them for you. But I'm definitely going to get what they are and what they're here for. And I will definitely get whether you're going to need them going forward, or whether they've been with you for only a week or for a year, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Cool.
But something that you could use just as you would use a spirit guide. And again, everybody has spirit guides. And the way I was trained in the spiritualist church, I did my seminary weeks in the spiritualist church, everybody has 5 inner band and many, many outer band guides.
Okay.
So outer band to Donna, Abraham Lincoln, Jerry, Mother Mary, and Frank, those are outer band spirit guides because they can be with everybody,
Yes.
Right.
not just me. That's outer band. So if you want to call an Abraham Lincoln, have at it.
Yeah.
If
He's
you
available.
like, yes,
right?
if you like an historical figure, but
Okay.
like someone said to me, what does he think about the Civil War? And what does he think about now? And I'm like, that's not what we talk about.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's not who he is to me.
No.
He's
Yeah.
the soul who was Abraham Lincoln.
That's right.
Or we talk about our past life together. And I'm like, oh my God, will this past life ever end? Okay,
There's more.
that's
story.
another video. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to get spirit animals, totem animals with both of you guys. All right, Kate, I'm going to do you first. All right, so just everybody just close your eyes, take a deep breath in and out. And both of you say, in tandem. I am open to receive.
I am open to receiving.
Okay, open your eyes. Okay, I see this double. He keeps morphing. He goes from turtle to hare, from turtle to hare, from slow to fast, from slow to fast. And I'm saying to this little turtle, hare, back and forth, back and forth. He's like, she's just not sure. Sometimes she goes really fast and she thinks she's going to make the finish line. And then other times she just walks because she's tentative. Not that she's not going the direction of the end, the finish line, because there is no finish line. It's just a line.
Yeah.
But she goes slow because she's tentative. She's
Yeah.
not afraid. She's not leery. She's not questioning. She's just tentative. There's a difference, he's saying, between tentative and questioning.
Right.
Tentative is, I know it's coming. I'm just taking my time. And then something comes along, and you're like, "Ooh, I want to go fast through this." Going downhill with a bicycle, right? Take your feet off the pedals and just go whoosh. So I've got Sam and Samantha. Those are the two. Sam and Samantha, the two. Sam is the turtle, Samantha the hare. Again, I'm androgynous here, no male or female.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing, Donna, this baby turtle I saw about a month ago. It was a baby snapper turtle.
Mhm.
And you think all turtles go slow.
Mhm.
Not this baby. He boogied like there was no tomorrow across. He was this little. You've seen baby turtles?
Yeah.
Have you seen baby turtles?
So-
This was a baby
so
snapper. So his tail was about the size of his body. It was huge,
Wow.
right? Their tail. They're prehistoric.
Yeah.
He just across the path. And everybody that commented, wherever I posted it, said, so much for slow turtles.
Yeah.
So what these guides are telling you is, look, just because you want to go slow does not make you a turtle.
Right.
Does not make that you are slow
Yeah.
or going slow, because turtles can also be fast. So they're telling me, watch out, because in those moments when you're going slow,
Yeah.
it's going to quickly turn to quick.
Okay.
Oh.
Be ready. So
Okay.
in those moments when you're tentative, you need to stay in that moment.
Right.
I hear you. I'm being tentative. I'm ready for the quickening. Instead of saying, I'm just going to hang out in this tentative and just walk slow until I become the hare again.
Yeah.
So they're with you for this. And eventually they will just go into one and they will disappear. You won't need them anymore. So I'll give you a time frame. They just started about 2 weeks ago with you.
Oh, wow.
And it's going to be at least a month or two before you say, I'm ready for the quickening. Oh, you have to recognize first the tentativeness.
Okay.
You have to say to yourself, oh, I see what I'm doing here, right? Putting yourself out of the situation, right? That's what people say. How do I get over this? You take yourself out of it. You say, hey, I see you there. I see what you're doing. My daughter and I just had this conversation, get stressed at work. I said, take yourself out and say, oh, I see what I'm doing. I'm getting stressed over this. I don't need to. This is life. This is what's happening. And then remind yourself, you just got rid of your car, so you don't have to park it in New York City anymore. Oh, so you got that going for you. So there's always something going for you.
Yes.
First, you have to notice the tentativeness and not just make it a piece of you and think, oh, that's me. Yes, it's a piece of you, but it doesn't have to be.
Right.
But recognize it. Awareness, right? What's the key to consciousness? Awareness first.
Yeah.
When you're aware of it, you look at it, you integrate it, you move on it. Be aware of that first. Sam and Samantha, turtle and the hare.
I love it. That's
Good
so
story.
cool. Yeah.
Any questions about that? Did you feel that? Did that resonate?
Well, it's so funny because I worked with a gentleman for about 3.5 years, and he, every time I went on vacation, would bring a turtle back.
Oh.
And give it to me. And I have them all lined up on my shelf at home.
They're
And
dead?
before I left this morning, I looked at them for some reason. I was just like, I don't know why I have these.
How does that relate to what we just said?
Well, honestly, I feel like I would always ask him, like, is it me you're telling me that I'm the turtle, or are you telling me you're the turtle? I would always kind of in my head do that. But I would just be like, whatever, it was just like communicating in that moment. That was a representation of our relationship on some level. And I just felt that was very comforting, And I do resonate with that, because I would say, and I'm glad you said tentative and not fearful because I'm not scared, but I definitely feel this, like I'm not rushing ahead a lot of the times.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you
then
feel
I
the
get in
times
my
when
head
you
and
are.
I question
Yeah.
that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I don't. I do the exact same thing, but I recognize it.
Yeah.
I say, okay, I can't do that today.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ride my bike. I'm going to watch a movie, and I'm going to honor that piece of me that can't do that right now.
Yes.
But thank you. Thank you for showing up.
And then this is not a coincidence, but as I was walking to Holly's from the coffee place this morning, there's a sign, and I'll show it to you when we leave, dwarf bunnies for sale. So, and where would you ever see a sign like that in our area? If not. So Turtle and the Hare right there.
There you go. They've been around.
Both of them today. So they announced themselves officially.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. In so many ways. So the first thing you say is thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
No, when you first said turtle, I'm like, he's bringing you live turtles and you have them on your shelf?
No, they're like
So
little,
confused.
yeah, like they're all different materials. Like one's like stone, one's mother of pearl, one's like wood. So they're all different elements. Yeah.
And they're beautiful. I wouldn't get rid of them, but I would say
No.
I honored you for the time you spent with me.
Yeah, exactly.
And now we're going to morph. We're going to do something else now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I get it. But in my head, I was seeing a live turtle because I just spoke to a live turtle. And you're like, you got turtles? What kind of guy is this one's giving you live
Well,
turtles?
if you met him, you would actually wonder a lot about him. So.
No, I was wondering why you would keep dead turtles on your shelf.
No, they were definitely not live turtles. I would never treat a live thing like that. But yeah, that's really cool. Thank you, Donna.
Okay, wonderful. And you see how the signs just already showed up. You see how the affirmation, you didn't to be confirmed, you just got affirmed. You just knew exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, they're there with you. A couple more months. Let me know how that goes.
Okay.
All right, Holly, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so I immediately see a giraffe.
Oh,
Wow.
He says his name is Spike.
okay.
He says he's walking away from me, which says Donna future. I love the way he presents as the head in the sky, right? You still have that otherworldly ability to reach, but also look at my legs. Look at my 4 legs planted firmly. Look how I never trip. He's talking to me, right? Look how I never trip. Look how I can run really fast. And look how I can lumber along, always comfortable in my own skin, in my physical body.
Yeah.
I also have so many things that try to take me down. I'm the giraffe speaking. So many things that try to take me down, but they don't. I could have 5 and 6 hyenas or tigers or something on me trying to take me down, but I just keep walking. I said, I say to him, but what do you do with those? They're attacking you, because I saw this in an image on a TV the other day. They're attacking you. What are you going to do? He says, I'm going to just kick them off. I'm just going to kick that one off. And they'll eventually get the idea that they're not welcome here anymore.
Yeah.
And they're not going to slow me down. They try to slow me down. They don't try to stop me. They try to slow me down. So Donna's interpretation of this, right? It's all about the interpretation of what I see, how I feel it. Is these tigers, these things that are attacking you, they're mostly people. They're mostly humans, I'll say. People, whether you're just communicating with someone and that person says something and you just go, oh, was that about me? Did I just take that on? So it's about verbally, people verbalizing things to you. So you see the image of the giraffe trying to get taken down, right, with something physical. That interpretation in your world is somebody saying something that turns something on your head that says, am I taking that personally? Shit, I'm taking that personally. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. It's the battle of being an empath and trying not to take on other people's emotions and energies. And I've been very consciously trying to, I know you said you don't like the word boundaries.
Yes.
But trying to create this differentiation so that I don't take on other people's emotions and keep that separate.
So that makes perfect sense with the giraffe.
Yeah.
But you can now take yourself on as the giraffe and just do the flick So let me tell you, new paradigm
Mhm.
with the word boundary and empath.
Mhm.
Those don't exist anymore. Neither of those
Okay.
words exist
Okay.
in the new paradigm. In
Okay.
the new paradigm, yes, we have emotions. And yes, other people's emotions affect us.
Mhm.
What are we going to do with that? We do that now in two ways. I'm not going to, granted, I will say sometimes, no, I'm not going into that room with those people. Nothing feels good about that. It's okay to say
Yes.
that. It's
Yeah.
definitely,
Yes.
even I'm not going to transmute that crap for you guys, right? But in the new paradigm, it is what we are doing. Light workers is also an old term, not a new paradigm. We'll call ourselves light workers. We'll call ourselves different vibrations. Doesn't mean the other vibrations don't still exist. They do.
Mhm.
Right.
But what we need to do on a global scale now, recognize that you're not just taking in stuff from the person in the coffee shop next to you. You're taking on stuff of a global proportion.
Mm.
Because that's where everybody is at right now. We're moving from third to fourth dimension.
Mhm.
So I see you both sitting on the edge of fourth,
Yeah.
up to fifth, back to fourth, up to fifth, back to fourth, because you keep thinking I'm not worthy to go to fifth.
Mm.
Right.
There's other people that I need to help still.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not going to help anybody at fourth by hanging on to fourth.
Right.
No.
Not helping anybody.
Mhm.
You're helping them by jumping off.
It's
into
like
fifth
put your
and
own mask
staying.
on in the airplane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So for eons, light workers, I'll use that term again, but I don't agree with that. Light workers have been standing on the edge of the cliff, have been teaching from the edge of the cliff, right? You heard that saying, I teach from the leading edge. I am on the leading edge.
Mhm.
In the new paradigm, we don't teach from the leading edge. We teach by jumping off the leading edge.
Right.
So you used to jump off into that fifth. Does that mean fourth won't be there anymore?
Yeah.
Yes, it's still going to be there because the people in fourth, I call this the rift in the shift. The people in fourth want to come up to the fifth. So they kind of stick their head in to see what it's like. And that's when our vibration goes a little wonky. We'll call that empath. But still, I need to say, do I need to just process that? Okay, if I'm going to process that, I'm just going to take a deep breath in, deep breath out, it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I need to be comfortable doing that in myself,
Yeah.
right? Instead of just walking along. I'm very fortunate because I don't work with a lot of people anymore, but I'm also almost 60. So I've had those moments.
Yeah.
And now looking back, all of those people were past life people who were sent to give me another message.
Yeah.
But instead, I took it personally.
Mm.
Here's what Lincoln said about taking things personally. The thing that just happened definitely just happened, but it didn't happen to you.
Ah, that's really good.
It happened. Yep,
Yeah.
that person treated you like, yep, it happened.
Yeah.
So the word boundary, I'm okay with boundaries because I'm like, come on in.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it down. Come on in. What do you got to teach me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you have to show me? And then I decide, do I want that person around me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a person. Could be an event. Could be anything. Do I want to do that?
Yeah.
After I looked at it, no, I don't want to do it. Being okay with no and moving. So giraffe is telling you,
Yeah.
keep moving. Spike is telling you, keep moving. I don't see this is going to happen for another month. I see giraffe will come in. It'll be at least another month. So you're going to get comfortable in the next month with the things that we just talked about.
Okay.
And as you move forward with Spike, he's telling me, yeah, it looks funny that, here you are and here he is, right? Because he's really tall and you're just the human form.
Yeah.
He's saying, why does she keep looking at herself like she's a human?
Oh. Wow. Okay. Spike.
So it's not that he has to lower himself for you.
Mm.
You have to raise that vibration to be.
Yes. Okay.
So stop looking at yourself as however tall you are, human. Remember that first story I told about being lifted off the cushion? There's something other than this physical body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
And when we keep thinking, I am this physical body, we say to our soul, I'm not you.
Yeah.
Mm. Mhm.
And that's where the new paradigm of oneness comes in.
Yeah.
Another story.
Wow.
So that resonates. Like
That
giraffe.
totally resonates. And the giraffe itself, how you have the story about the turtles.
Yes.
Is that actually the dream that I had that Kate was in is because we went to Africa and we're obsessed with going on safari. And so I've been adding to all my Pinterest boards Giraffe Manor.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is very new. I've never really been
Yeah, this is the
drawn
last
to
few
Africa
weeks, yeah.
or drawn. I'd never even heard of Giraffe Manor, and now I've been pinning it to every Pinterest board.
What's Giraffe Manor? What does that mean?
It's like a destination lodge. I think it's in Kenya or around
Yeah, I think it's
Kenya.
Kenya.
And essentially it's a beautiful luxury resort where the giraffes roam free on the property, and it's very humane. And it's honestly, it does
You can
look
have
real.
break-
It's like a Cinderella, it's like not Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland type experience. Like you're eating breakfast and a giraffe can poke its head in the window. Like it's that,
Nice.
yeah. So we've
So
been
giraffe.
Yeah.
You see how this works.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna ride on your back because I'm small.
You're not this physical body. You are something
That's
more
right.
than this physical body.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Jump off the edge, girls. Jump. And that's what you guys are doing in this podcast too. This is what you're doing. You're opening up to the new paradigm.
Yeah, we are.
There's probably about 1% of the population that has opened up to this new paradigm.
Yeah.
Everybody else is still using good, bad, right, or wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Blaming, shaming, and all of those other words.
Yeah.
totally.
Opening up to the new paradigm where there's only love. How can I love more things?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
So
Right.
Giraffe has been coming up for you already.
Yeah.
And here he is.
Yeah.
I love that his
Spike.
name is Spike too, because I'm a Buffy fan and Spike's
Ah.
the main character. So I resonate with that for her.
That's how it
I
works.
named your giraffe for you.
It's how it works. I mean, the vibration comes through. That's
Yeah.
what I do.
Yeah.
I just, spirit allows me to speak for them and tap into that. So you're going to get confirmation. There was a woman I read a bit ago and doing a reading. Everything's going great. Lots of yeses. Yeah, this is great. All of a sudden I start singing Alanis Morissette.
Oh, wow.
Just in the middle of the reading, just started,
Yeah.
I forget the name of the song, just started singing one of her songs. And I went, oh, sorry. I don't know why I went off on that tangent. Continued the reading. At the end, she says, do you want to know why you sang Alanis Morissette? I'm like, yes, why? I'm living in the house that used to belong. My boyfriend bought her house.
Wow.
Oh,
That's really cool.
wow.
So you just picked up on that.
Somehow, I didn't know it.
Yeah.
I just started singing. So
great.
when I give a reading, I like to say, everything that comes out of my mouth, everything is coming from spirit, unless you hear me say, this is Donna talking.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I know it's me and I know it's them. Like the way I was talking as the giraffe.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. That's
That was
amazing.
a good one.
Yeah, that was
That's
really
good.
cool. I like
That
that.
was really Thank you. Thank you for allowing that.
That's amazing. And I just one of the kinds of experiences you can have if you book in a reading, right? And again, just to get that bit of guidance is so profound.
Mhm.
So
It's something we all need for our soul.
yes.
If we're going to become one with this soul that we are,
Yeah.
not the human body. We're not a soul in a human body. We're a
Yeah.
soul. We're a soul.
So yeah.
So when I say, you know, what do I do as a medium? I said, I allow spirit to speak. They run the show and they will give you what you need to know at this present time for your soul's evolution.
Yeah.
Then you'll have time to ask questions. There's always that time, but I
Yeah.
want to let spirit talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I appreciate that because I think that's essentially the whole reason someone's going there. And if you just surrender to that experience, that's when, again, you're going to get what you need out of it for sure.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to hear you talk. You have therapy.
Well, yeah.
If you just want to talk.
I'd prefer not to talk in
Yeah.
case so.
I wish I had somebody like me to do a reading. So
Yeah.
sometimes during a reading, something will come through and my
Yeah.
client will say, I don't know what you're talking about. This happened like 3 times. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, well, maybe that's for me.
Yeah.
And then a day or so later, it'll come through. It was for me. I'm like, I'll send her an email.
Don't
Thanks for
interrupt
that.
me in my reading. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Sorry, I'll give you $5 back. Okay.
Yeah.
That was for me.
That's
So
awesome.
you have to be open. And even as open as I am, right? I think, and I'm always there for a sign. There's
Yeah.
still some things that I need to hear that maybe I don't trust
Right,
unless I'm in that mediumship mode of that hour and speaking.
right.
Yeah. Great. Well, for our listeners that are interested in booking a reading with Donna, there is going to be a discount available. So just let Donna know that you have listened to this podcast and you heard all about Spike. And yeah, you can contact her on Instagram, and we'll obviously link her details below in the show notes as well.
Yeah. And you wanted to do one exercise with us.
We're going to do an exercise.
Yeah, we can fit that in, and then we'll have to book you in for another show because there's just so much to talk about.
So
I
much
mean,
lot.
we've
And
had
our
so much
listeners
fun.
will have questions for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot in the new paradigm. Even
Yeah.
things that I'm sharing now, I got 2 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
So we don't know what everybody's ready for. But I think I finally stepped into,
Mhm.
I'm going to do this. What am I waiting for? I mean, people said, Donna, you need to talk about things that people understand. And I'm like, well, there's enough people out there talking about things that I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Mhm.
I want to be new. I want to be new paradigm. I've always said I want to do new stuff. I want to have that niche. I want to do something that's different.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's that word again, niche.
Yeah. We love
I
it.
like that. I like that word. And that's what I do. Right. I have events that will give you your spirit guide or magic dictionary, spirit dictionary, where I just pull a word from the spirit dictionary. I love doing that interpretation of that. Every year I grab a message from spirit about what the year is going to be coming.
Right.
And one came from JFK, which was so profound a couple of years ago. That was so profound. I'm hoping he comes through this year too, for our message for 2022. Okay, so the exercise. Someone told me to do this eons ago.
Okay.
I did it and I immediately got the confirmation. So this is going to be a specific something that you're going to ask for spirit. So what you're going to do is when you find yourself at a quiet moment, this evening, tomorrow, whenever, quiet moment, you could speak out loud or speak in your head. Think of something that you want spirit to show you, whether it's a symbol, and I'm going to give you examples, a symbol, a word, a picture. You want this to appear, and then give them a time frame.
Okay.
24 hours, 48 hours, a week, whatever pops in.
Yeah.
But you need to be specific.
Okay.
And then you need to leave no room for doubt.
Yeah.
Open up your eyes and your ears and your heart. So the first time I was taught to do this, I said to Jerry, I want to see an image of somebody doing this. Yahoo! Immediately, I turned on the TV and there's somebody on the screen going like this. Yahoo! Immediately.
Wow, that was quick.
I got a second symbol. I can't remember how it was, but I remember getting two. It's a long time ago. I'm old now. Okay. I just gave this to someone else. Someone did it. And she said immediately after she asked for the sign, her phone fell on the ground and the light turned on. The flashlight light turned on. She said, Donna, I haven't been able to get that light to turn on.
Wow.
In weeks. All of a sudden it turns on. She said, but not just that. I picked it up and I couldn't get it to turn off. So I said, was that your sign? Was that what you asked for? She said, no. But I said to her, look, it's possible that spirit couldn't do that, what you asked for.
Yeah.
But look what they did send you.
Instead. Yeah.
Yes.
She said, oh, I saw it as a sign, but I'm still waiting because I gave them 24 hours. So I'm still waiting for my next one. And that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how spirit works. They will send things through. And if you've watched my YouTube videos, how phone has changed, my computer has changed. In front of my eyes, pictures have changed. In front of my eyes,
Yeah.
things are
So
changing.
powerful.
Yeah.
In front of my eyes.
Yes.
But I never said, oh, that's not what it is. I said, look at this.
Yeah.
Right? I want to tell the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did I explain that well enough that you know what to do?
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
I already know what I'm asking for.
And it could appear, you pick up your computer, someone sends you a card, someone talks to you and says the sign or the image. Someone says, look what I just got from my friend, and that's the sign, right? You have to look at everything, be open for that interpretation of it also. You say, oh, you want a giraffe sign. But you're like, you can't say that, Colleen, because you see giraffes all the time already.
Yeah, that's right.
But you might say, I want to see a giraffe laying down. You know, you might be specific in that way. But then you'll say, someone will send you an email that says, Holly, look at this picture of a giraffe I just found.
Yeah.
It happens. I've had so many stories about how that happens. It's so much
I
fun.
believe it will.
That's
So
amazing.
much fun.
I love
And
that.
if it doesn't, you're still not going to doubt it.
Yeah.
No.
just didn't happen that time for you. That's okay.
Yeah.
And that's
That's
okay.
okay.
Or maybe, you're just not being specific enough, or maybe, yeah.
Could be anything. That's a lesson in and of
That's the
itself.
lesson, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Not to get pissed off that it didn't
Yes.
happen.
exactly.
I one time sat with my spirit guides, because that's what somebody told me to do, in a dark basement bathroom with a recorder. And I talked to my spirit guides for 2 hours. 5 spirit guides. I talked to them for 2 hours. I asked them every question I could think of. They spoke back through me. I voiced it all.
Yeah.
I said, look, people will believe me. You already know it's coming.
Yeah,
I went to play it back. Guess what?
nothing.
My God.
Because spirit doesn't want that. They said, Donna, what are you trying to prove to people?
Exactly,
Yeah,
right?
You don't need
exactly.
to prove anything.
No,
Yeah.
you don't.
So I got the message.
Yes.
And then also someone told me is because there's so much energy in the room, the recorder could not work. It was picking up just weightless.
And I always
Picking
think,
up something.
yeah, when you don't get the sign right away, or something doesn't come through the way you think you should see it or want to see it, there's always some sort of divine timing in that as well,
Yeah.
too. Potentially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bigger picture.
Exactly.
Always look at the bigger pictures, not specific. Like, look what we talked about, the giraffe, the
Yeah.
turtle, the hare. Nothing was specific.
Yeah.
We got into that. Look at the big picture of it.
Yeah.
You got to interpret it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it came pretty crystal clear. So I
Yeah.
think that worked out really well.
Really well.
Yeah. Oh, Donna, this has been
This
so
has been great.
amazing. So amazing. And we also want to let everyone know that she
Yes.
has 1 book available right now on Amazon. And then she's got 2 coming out, because she's just in creative flow right now. So we're really excited for her.
Yes.
And yeah, again, if you are interested in a reading, which I highly recommend, she's amazing. You can visit her handle at DonnaBoyle_medium, and we'll link that below to book in, and you'll get a discount if you mention you listen to this podcast, which is amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, there'll be the link tree, which will have that link, and on that
Yeah.
link tree, there'll be everything. You can buy my book through there, you can contact email through there, you can pay through everything is on that one.
So that
page.
is
So
link in
simple.
bio.
Yes.
Link in bio.
Oh, it's by Linktree. Get it? Lincoln, link.
Tree.
Oh, Lincoln. Wow. There he is
Linktree.
again. I love it. Now you're going to turn the TV on, and the movie with Daniel Day-Lewis is going to come on.
I've seen that. I've seen that.
I bet you.
So was he really that boring? Was he really that boring? Seriously, was he that boring?
Yeah.
He was not animated at all.
Yeah.
Now he's animated, like
Yeah. Oh my
totally.
God.
He and my cat just hang out together. So I love that.
I love it. That's the best.
Wow.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
I really enjoyed this.
Yeah,
This
this has
is
been great. I
amazing.
can't wait to listen back to it.
I
I
know.
was absorbing all the information. I'm like, I already want to stop the record and listen to it back. So
Perfect.
Good. So glad. Thank you so much.
And yeah, I'm sure we'll have you on the show again in the future, because
yes,
we want to hear more stories. So
yeah, definitely.
and talk about this new paradigm. I
New
love
paradigm. We're already hooked. We want to watch more of your videos to learn more about this.
that.
Yeah, there's not a lot. There's on one of my blogs, Past Life Goals.
Yep.
There is, I just shared a couple of weeks ago about 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th dimension
Okay.
and what it means. And there's many people out there talking about it,
Yep.
Yeah.
but this was pretty specific what came through that day. So that
Okay.
Wow.
Interesting.
and that was from a reading 2 years ago. Again,
Yes.
2 years.
Divine timing.
Yep.
All right, you guys take care of yourselves.
Thanks so much, Donna.
Bye, Donna.
Bye-bye,
Bye.
guys. Thank you so much.